97.3 Citi FM. This is the Citi Prime News. We're broadcasting live from our studio in Accra. I am Charles Osukomi. This afternoon, Bank of Ghana to convene stakeholder workshop to solicit ideas on perfecting the controversial gold for reserves policy, partly recently credited for Ghana's currency stability.
We intend to convene a focused policy workshop with experts, with market practitioners and policymakers to examine how this national priority can be refined further in line with best practices elsewhere.
Also in this bulletin, New Patriotic Party seeks counsel from former President Kufuor as the party prepares for its crucial January 31 presidential primary.
Every stage of our process, we've been consulting, and then this weekend, we're going to give him update with everything we have done so far and the milestones completed.
Still on the Citi Newsroom, still on the Citi Prime News, Graduate Student Association of Ghana said to meet Education Ministry over recent 25% increment in fees at University of Ghana. And later, Asante Hinotumfo said to the second makes historic visit to the Ghana Police Headquarters. We have our reporters down there and we'll bring you up to speed with what's happening exactly there at the police headquarters.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
All that and more coming up on the Citi Prime News, which is also live in the Western region on Premium 100.5 FM, Sky Power 93.5 FM, and Beach 105.5 FM, all in Takrade. In the Bono region, we're live on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunya. In the Ashanti region, we're also live on Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi. In the Volta region, we're on Holy 98.5 FM in Aflao. The news is also live around the world on citinewsroom.com. Let's get into the details of the bulletin. And Asante Hinotumfo said too is expected to make a historic visit to the police headquarters today to engage with the IGP and the police management board. Let's now go live to the police headquarters where my colleague Fauzu Masodu is currently stationed. Good afternoon to you, Fauzu. Grateful to you for your time on the Citi Prime News. Has Nana arrived yet?
Good afternoon, Charles. It's a big day here at the Ghana Police, the headquarters of the Ghana Police Service. Why? As you rightly mentioned, the Asante His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei II is expected to make that grand arrival at the headquarters in a maiden visit to the service. The Asante has not arrived as yet, but everything is in place, to ensure that it goes as planned. Even before his arrival, which is expected to happen in no time, the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs are present here. The police hierarchy and members of the police management board are also present here. And we also see some retired, or if you like, some former Inspector General of Police, among others. And of course, the former Asante Regional Chairman, Asante Regional Minister S.K. Buafo is also here to receive the Asante Hinotumfo Osei II. So the Asante has not yet arrived, but in no time he should be expected at the headquarters of the Ghana Police Service.
Well, I see there is a guard of honor expected for the king that has been set up already. We know that this is a historic visit. From your engagements with persons at the police headquarters, what are these engagements between the Asante Hene, the IGP, and the police management board expected to be centered on?
Well, Charles, there was visit. According to the Ghana Police Service, the visit of the Asante Hene indeed, reaffirmed or confirmed the positive impression by the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Christian Tete Yohono, and his ability to, in their words, reshape the image of the Ghana Police Service and decide a number of reforms that he has introduced. They believe strongly that this reason, among others, has necessitated the visit, this historic visit by the Otumfuo, Asante Hene Otumfuo Osei II II. The police also elucidated that this visit indeed goes a long way to reaffirm the services approach.
Hello, Fauzu.
and what have you. Charles, we also know that Otunfo has indeed been at the center of a number of security issues. Key among them include the Boko conflict. And we know that as a lead mediator, the Otunfo works closely with the Ghana Police Service. And so this visit is also expected to be, to show some form of appreciation or gratitude for the Ghana Police Service and, if you like, the country's security architecture as a whole for going along with him on that Boko mediation journey, among others. So, Charles, this really are the cracks of the Otunfo's visit to the Ghana Police Service.
All right, I'm grateful to you, Fauzu. Fauzu Masaudu is my colleague here in the Citi newsroom. He's stationed at the police headquarters, where the Asante Otunfo Setu II is expected to make a historic visit today. When Nana arrives and the fallouts of that meeting, we're sure to bring them to you here on the Citi newsroom. Let's move away from that. International relations expert Professor Vladimir Ntwidanso has backed Ghana's condemnation of the forceful removal of Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro by the United States government. The government of Ghana has strongly condemned what it calls a unilateral and unauthorized military invasion of Venezuela by the United States, an action which led to the abduction of President Nicolas Maduro and his wife. The development has attracted widespread criticism from various quarters of the international community. In an interview with Citi News, the former director of the Legon Center for International Affairs commended Ghana for what he described as a bold and principled stance on the issue.
We believe in multilateralism and not unilateralism. So Ghana's condemnation is pivoted on this pillar. That, hey, look, we all love our multilateral system under the UN system. So Trump, you are wrong. And we can be bold to say that because the UN Charter backs us. Then again, because we have been able to say that, we are saying revert to the status quo, release the man and the wife. I don't think Ghana has done anything wrong, nor should we be afraid. There are other people who want to politicize this. It's wrong. I doff my hat for the ministry for coming out with this statement. It's strong and it is unequivocal. It is sauce for the gander, sauce for the goose. That is to say, we don't want this to happen to any other country. We are not being preferential. We are not saying it is America and therefore we won't talk. We've spoken and spoken boldly. Let the whole world follow our example.
Professor Ntwidanso further called on world leaders to adopt a tougher and more coordinated response to the situation.
These things are unilateral actions which are not justified. The United Nations Charter does not allow any such action. And I strongly believe that the world must now sit up. He's now threatening to go to Colombia and Mexico. He's now threatening to take over Grenada, which belongs to Denmark. I mean, if we don't stop this now, we're going to go into chaos. And then other powers, just like the international system offers, will stand up and call their bluff, and we'll have a third world war. So for me, it is unjustifiable. It is wicked. It is against the stability of the international system, and we must all condemn it and take viable steps to halt unilateralism in the new system that we find ourselves.
You heard the voice of international relations expert Professor Vladimir Ntwidanso. Let's now focus on some NPP politics. The party says key stakeholders are regularly consulted ahead of the party's presidential primaries on January 31. Concerns have been raised about the alleged sidelining of party stalwarts in key decisions and events. Speaking to Citi News, Secretary to the NPP Presidential Election Committee, William Yamwa, stated that former Presidents John Agyekum Kufuor and Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo have periodically been provided with briefings and have provided their inputs into the election.
We have another stakeholders meeting that is internal. The party structures are also tentatively on 22nd. We have another scheduled meeting with our former presidents, President Kufuor and President Nana Akufo-Addo, also this weekend.
How deeply are they involved in this process? Because we know in the past, President Kufuor has raised questions about his involvement in the party.
Every stage of our process, we've been consulting. And then this weekend, we're going to give him update with everything we have done so far and the milestones completed. And then also officially invite him to a scheduled meeting on the 22nd, which I mentioned, the joint stakeholders meeting. All the processes are almost duly completed. We just sent the albums to all the constituencies, the voter register on the 5th. That was yesterday. They concluded the process. We are yet to receive the reports from the various constituencies through their IT officers. And then if there are any anomalies or administrative errors, we will correct that and then we'll finalize the album.
William Yamwa also urged supporters of the various aspirants to conduct themselves with decorum as the party counts down to the presidential election.
After 31st, there is a party, and we have to all come together to rally behind whoever emerges as the winner. So statements that are not palatable, we should seize them and rather focus on what the delegates want to hear. Messages that will convince them to vote for their candidates rather than using derogatory statements that at the end of the day will be very difficult for us as a party to reconcile, to come back as a united party to wrestle power from the NDC.
That was the secretary to the NPP Presidential Election Committee, William Yamwa. Still on the NPP, the campaign team of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia says within the next 25 days, the former vice president will complete his face-to-face campaign engagements in the Greater Accra, Northern and Ashanti regions, effectively concluding his tour of all constituencies across the country's 16 regions. The team, however, notes that activities by various units of its decentralized campaign structure will continue unabated until January 31, when they hope Dr. Bawumia will emerge victorious in the party's presidential election. In an interview with Citi News, Director of Communications for the Dr. Bawumia campaign, Dennis Miracles Abuaji, says measures are being put in place to consolidate and safeguard the support assured the vice president by party grassroots.
As we speak today, the former second lady, Ajia Samira Bawumia, has actually gone back to continue. That's a phase 2 of her tour in the Ashanti region. She's already visited a couple of regions already. So she's in the Ashanti region as we speak. There are other teams across all the other regions also engaging delegates. For the Dr. Bawumia itinerary, we are wrapping up Greater Accra region. And then from the Greater Accra, we'll move to the Northern region. And then from there, we'll zoom in straight to Ashanti region, which will be the last region. Talk to any constituency electoral area coordinator, and you'll hear the same thing. The party people have settled on Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. They've listened to all the other candidates. They need to make a choice. And they've settled on Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And once that has been established, it's in our interest to make sure that we keep the unity of the party together.
You heard Dennis Miracles Abuaji, the Director of Communications for the Bawumia campaign. Meanwhile, the Kennedy-Japan campaign says it is maintaining a multifaceted approach as the party moves closer to that presidential election. Speaking to Citi News, spokesperson for the campaign, Kwesi Kwati, indicated that support for Kennedy-Japan continues to grow stronger with each passing day.
The Ken's campaign is growing stronger and stronger and stronger. The momentum keeps rising. As of now, Ken currently in the Ashanti region with his team campaigning to delegates. Beyond that, Honorable Renato Shiada is also leading a different campaign team in the Eastern region. And at the same time, we also have another campaign group being led by Mrs. Christiana Japan, that is the wife of Honorable Kennedy Japan, who as of now has also reached the central region. So it's a multifaceted approach, multifaceted campaign, where we have a lot of campaign teams on the ground campaigning to the people, giving them the message of hope.
That was Kwesi Kwati, the spokesperson for the Kennedy-Japan campaign team. Still on election-related matters, the chief executive of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Michael Kpakpo-Alote, has called on the opposition New Patriotic Party to abandon any plans of contesting a future by-election in the Ayawaso East constituency. His comments follow the death of the MP for the area, Nazir Ture Mahama, who passed away on Sunday at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital after a short illness. Speaking to Citi News, the Accra mayor said a non-competitive by-election would be a gesture of respect to the late lawmaker.
we are going to have anything struggle over this. The party will sit down and take a good decision that will help the people, the electors, and the party. We are not going to struggle over this. This is not a time to. And I think and hope that our opponents will not come to contest these elections, so that we'll just do it peacefully to give him last respect. I think it's a sign of respect for him. So I don't think we're going to have something.
Michael Kpaku Alote is mayor of Accra. Meanwhile, the New Patriotic Party says it is awaiting an official declaration of vacancy before deciding whether to contest the Ayawaso East parliamentary seat. Now, this follows comments including those by the chief executive of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, urging the NPP not to field the candidates after the death of the sitting MP. Speaking to Citi News, Deputy General Secretary of the party, Haruna Mohammed, notes that any decision will be made by the party's National Executive Committee and will not be influenced by comments from the governing NDC or public opinion.
We are waiting for the official announcement in relation to the creation of that particular vacancy. When this is communicated to us as Ghanaians and MPP as a political party, we will surely use the constitutional procedures within our party, which lies in the decision of the National Executive Committee to take a decision as to the contest of the Ayawaso East parliamentary seat when it is declared vacant. We are consistent. We are consistent in whatever we do. And in our party, we have structures as to how we communicate some of these decisions. We don't communicate based on people's opinion. We communicate based on what the National Executive Committee sees that should happen. So we have heard several commentaries about that. The party will certainly take a decision based on the conviction and principle of the party in terms of contesting parliamentary elections and by far or extension to by-elections.
That was Deputy General Secretary for the New Patriotic Party, Haruna Mohammed. Well, on the other side of the political aisle, the NDC has described the passing of the Ayawaso East MP as a significant loss and is currently paying its respects to the deceased. According to the party's Deputy Director of Elections and IT, Rashid Tanko Computer, internal procedures to select a candidate for the forthcoming by-election will commence after the period of mourning.
I mean, we didn't expect this. We never saw it coming. I mean, we thought we had started the year with full hopes and aspirations. We never expected that such a hard-working, honorable member would leave us in the middle of the ocean. I mean, that's how I can describe it. One of the most terrible news. I mean, it hit us hard as national executives of the party and also the Directorate of Elections of the party. It hit us hard. We're still processing the loss. After we are be able to perform and give him the befitting funeral that he deserves as an honorable member, he was one of the hard-working MPs that we had in Parliament, and losing him at this time is something that we cannot fathom with. So we will get there after we be able to give him the necessary befitting funeral. And then we'll activate the party processes to get a worthy replacement.
You heard the voice of Deputy Director of Elections and IT for the National Democratic Congress, Rashid Tanko Computer. You are still listening to the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM, broadcasting from Accra. In the northern region, the news is live on Dasuma 99.1 FM in Yendi. In the Upper East region, we're on Word 88.3 FM in Zwarungu. Also on Mic 105.3 FM in Navrungo. And in the Upper West region, we're on Bugli Radio 88.6 FM in Wa. Still ahead in the bulletin, Bank of Ghana to convene stakeholder workshop to solicit ideas on perfecting the controversial gold for reserves policy, partly credited for Ghana's recent currency stability. We have details in a bit. Please don't go away.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
10 years of unforgettable memories, breathtaking sights, unlimited excitement, new friendships. And this March, we're turning it all the way up from the 1st to the 8th of March 2026. Get ready for the road trip of a lifetime. 8 epic days, 14 regions, one legendary caravan. We roll from Greater Accra through the Eastern region, cruise into the Northern and Upper East regions, vibe through the Western region, and hit many more iconic destinations across Ghana. It's culture, it's adventure, it's pure discovery with the best people and the best vibes. Expect non-stop fun, endless scenic views, deep cultural immersion, new networks and friendships and memories that will outlive the journey. Seats are limited and this is the 10th anniversary. You cannot miss it. Watch out for details soon.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Yeah, welcome back. This is the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM with me, Charles Owusu-Kumi. In more news, the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Esiama, has indicated that the central bank, in collaboration with Gold Board and the Ministry of Finance, plans to organize a targeted policy workshop to explore ways of enhancing the domestic gold reserves program in line with global standards. Addressing participants at the 77th Annual New Year's School at the University of Ghana, he explained that the program was launched during a period of significant economic strain. He notes that beyond its primary goal of stabilizing the economy, the domestic gold reserves program has played an important role in restoring confidence despite ongoing challenges.
Looking ahead in 2026, Your Excellency, the G4R program must be anchored more firmly within the broader Government of Ghana framework as a national priority. And responsibility will be shared in such a way that sustainability does not rest on any single institution. We encourage informed debates. We encourage evidence-based. In that spirit, the Bank of Ghana, working with the Gold Board and the Ministry of Finance, we intend to convene a focused policy workshop with experts, with market practitioners and policymakers to examine how this national priority can be refined further in line with best practices elsewhere.
That was Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Johnson Esiama. Away from that, the Graduate Students Association of Ghana, GRASAC, says it will honor an invitation from the Ministry of Education on Thursday to discuss recent fee increments in public universities. The meeting follows concerns raised by the association over proposed changes to academic user fees for the 2025-2026 academic year, which GRASAC says are linked to rising accommodation challenges on university campuses. Speaking to Citi News ahead of the meeting, President of GRASAC, Sadiq Abubakar, says the association is hopeful the ministry will give due consideration to their demands.
To go and explain the fact that there's never been 20% increase in academic fee. The only adjustments on our wholesale budget, which we are going to do to establish a wholesale for the students care or mitigate the accommodation costs on campus and adopting types of wholesale fees around campus. We are expecting the ministers to come to our aid and come and answer our major problem. Because our major problem, sorry about the fees, is about accommodation prices for campus. So currently, if I'm paying a piece of 2,000 and I'm paying a accommodation fee or 80,000 or 7,000, which one is more expensive? So for this is true. Rather, if they want to liquidate charges on campus, it's fine. We're happy, but it's a good decision on our interest. But the key issue is spending and is accommodation.
Sadiq Abubakar is the president of the University of Ghana chapter of the Graduate Students Association of Ghana. Still with the education sector, the executive director of Africa Education Watch, Kofi Asare, says although President John Mahama's first year in office has seen notable gains in the education sector, major policy reforms are still needed. He notes that the National Democratic Congress's first year has recorded both successes, including the continuation of the free senior high school policy, and challenges such as rising indiscipline in schools and outstanding debt owed the West African Examinations Council. He, however, commended government for sustaining major education policies inherited from the previous administration. Away from that, government says it is committed to ensuring fair pricing of petroleum products as part of efforts to protect consumers and promote economic stability. Speaking at the annual New Year School Conference at the University of Ghana, Chief Executive Officer of the National Petroleum Authority, Edudzi Tamaklo, stressed that pricing decisions in the petroleum sector has been guided by transparency, efficiency, and the need to balance market realities with public interest. He notes that the government remains focused on policies that encourage competition and reduce undue pricing pressures. In more news, the Ashanti Regional Directorate has announced plans to strengthen its systems and interventions to improve health outcomes across the region, particularly in the area of maternal mortality. Data from the Directorate shows that 232 maternal deaths were recorded in the first half of 2025, a significant increase compared to 158 during the same period in 2024. In an interview with Citi News, the Ashanti Regional Director, Dr. Adumako Boateng, said the Directorate is determined to ensure that such maternal mortality figures are not repeated in 2026.
We don't need any needless preventable maternal deaths in the region. And not only that, perinatal deaths in the region. We will come to all health workers that, pregnancy is not a disease, but somebody will come to your facility seemingly normal, but it can turn within a split second. Care, consciousness, awareness, and being diligent in the things that you are trained to do. Let's do that. If it's the need for us to refer, we have protocols, we have standards. If they use them, if they need to contact other person, other facility to make the good judgment so that we prevent all these, we will have to do that. And that is one of the things that as a region we are looking at very well when it comes to maternal mortality, stillbirth and that. And I believe that by 6 months' time, I'll come to you again and give you the statistics last year and this year. These are things that I think will hold ourselves accountable to us.
He also expressed concern about the rising incidence of lifestyle-related and non-communicable diseases, including hypertension and diabetes, urging the public to adopt healthier lifestyles.
Non-communicable diseases, because if you look at the commonest ones, we call them silent killers. And what comes to mind is hypertension, 1, diabetes, 2, then we also talk a bit about the cancers. And so for most of us, I would say for now, if you are 40 and above, at least to start well, you have to have your blood pressures checked very well. That's the first thing that you have to do. Our advice that whilst you are going to check this blood pressure, get a notebook, and so that they will be able to record the blood pressure in that, and that will be your adult weighing book for the year. So all of us that are more than 40, and also if you have a very high risk, you are coming from a very high risk family, maybe your mother, your father, your first relation is also having, then we can even go back to 30, down to 35, 30. Please check your blood pressure.
That was the Ashanti Regional Director of Health, Dr. Fred Adumako Boateng. Now, unemployed environmental health officers and assistants have threatened to picket the Ministry of Local Government if government fails to act on assurances given following their December 2025 petition. The group is demanding immediate employment and postings, as well as formal recognition for trained environmental health officers, assistants, and graduates of the School of Hygiene. Now, speaking to Citi News, the General Secretary, Fred Awini-Atinga, said that despite assurances from authorities that the matter would be addressed, there has still been no clear response or timelines weeks later.
So we'll follow all the necessary procedure, that is formal, the legal way to, and if it doesn't go to, at least going to the ministry to seek for redress of our issues is also a legal form. So if we don't hear anything from them, we'll mass up again and go to the ministry with our certificates and all our qualifications and give it out there. Maybe that one they will take it and then process it for us. If maybe they are delaying, we can submit our documents to them again. We have them in our houses. So what is it is that all members should come to the ministry on this day, and we will definitely inform the police as we have been doing. So sometimes we have to also give them some small time. So we are only giving them some small time to see if they don't apply or they don't follow their own promise, we will go there again to seek for justice for all my mental health officers and assistants who have been jobless. Meanwhile, the country is sinking in terms of sanitation. This country is in a mess. Everywhere it's smelling.
You heard General Secretary of the Unemployed Environmental Health Officers and Assistants, Fred Awini Atinga. Well, that will be all for this edition of the City Prime News, which has been live from our studios in Accra. For more news, log on to our website, citynewsroom.com. I am Charles Osukumi. Thank you for your time.
City News, we speak first. Reach our hotline on 0302-224959 and get interactive on Facebook, City 97.3 FM, and on Twitter at City 973.